Hey there, everyone. So we're back at it again. I am here today to talk about chaplain recruiting with Army Chaplain Recruiter Avila from the 5th Medical Recruiting Battalion. And I hope that you enjoyed today's discussion with Chaplain Avila. What we're going to go over today are a slew of things, options that you may or may not have been aware of regarding a career as an Army chaplain. And Chaplain Avila is going to talk about his chaplain station being the 5th. It falls within the 5th Medical Recruiting Battalion, but his chaplain station is the South Central Chaplain Recruiting Station located in Dallas, Texas. So it serves, I guess, a wide array of locations. And many of us may have preconceived notions on what an Army chaplain is all about. So we're going to talk about those different things. And I hope that you enjoyed today's discussion. And so I will give Chaplain Avila a little bit of time to come on our live stream event. But in the meantime, I would like to at least share with you all some facts and some information that I have regarding chaplain recruiting. And so, if you're interested, first and foremost, in being a chaplain recruiter, being a chaplain candidate, I should say, the information is located on the goarmy.com website. Chaplain Avila will go over in detail as far as the information that you may be looking for, as far as, questions that I've heard are, am I old enough to be a chaplain recruiter? Am I, what qualifications do I need to have? Also, where are some locations that I could actually talk to a chaplain recruiter? And so that information is going to be out there as well for you. Things that he will possibly be going over are some of the, I guess, the ethos that falls within the chaplain recruiting. And I'm going to, I'm reading off obviously some information that is relevant to our presentation today. A main thing that I see on there, and he's going to go over it as well. Be twice the citizen by serving God and country as an Army chaplain. Spirituality is something that many people, even as a citizen, we're dealing with spirituality. We're looking for a higher call. We're looking for a higher calling towards our Army career field. And what a career option it is being an Army chaplain. The information that, as far as, who should I answer to and what is that call and how can I answer that call? It's something that you may find within your spiritual calling. It's something that you may find within Army chaplain recruiting. And of course, we're going to find that information there for you. So let's go ahead and, I guess, update some slide information there before we actually get the ball rolling with it all. If you do have any questions regarding Army chaplain recruiting, you just give us a pause, give us a buzz as far as our point of contact. The point of contact that we have, especially specifically me, it would be 210-426-1158. You could give me a call and I could connect you directly to our Army chaplain recruiter. As far as, let's see, location, if you're looking for, not location, I should say, but mainly, denomination that we may be looking for in Army chaplain recruiting. We do appeal to a number of denominations. We do appeal to a number of religions as well. It's not just the Christian chaplain we're looking for. We're looking for Muslim. We're looking for Buddhists. We're looking for, a multitude of course, Christian chaplains. We're looking for Jewish chaplains as well. And, you have to be, qualified. You have to have the right credentials, etc. You have to be able to talk to, and you have to be able to connect with an Army chaplain recruiter out there. So I know I kind of gave a long intro as far as Army chaplain recruiting, but I promise that once you finally get a chance to actually talk to our Army Chaplain Recruiter, Chaplain Avila. He could give you some really good information on there. So I'm going to go ahead and play our intro for us. Then I will kind of segue into a good YouTube video that you can get really good information on Army Chaplain recruiting. So let's go ahead and let me set this all up for you. I know it's a one-man thing, and you know, sometimes as a one-man show, you've got to be able to mess around and control multiple screens, multiple places. It's all by yourself, but that's fine because that's all part of, you know, the love for recruiting, the love for television, and the love for getting information out there as well. So let's go ahead and play this quick intro for you, and I hope that you enjoy. Here we go. Okay. Okay, and here we go. And let me go ahead and put a pause as far as our live streaming video. And I will go ahead and find you that link with Army Chaplain Recruiting right now on YouTube. I'm going to put you on the video that we recently made with one of our own chaplain recruiters here in the battalion, and that chaplain being Army Chaplain McKinnon. And so I hope that you do enjoy this video that I play for you with Chaplain McKinnon. He gives kind of pertinent information, his story as far as why he joined the Chaplain Corps, and I hope that this information appeals to you. So here we go. And that is quite awesome. The information shared there about chaplain recruiting with one of our chaplain recruiters here in the 5th Medical Recruiting Battalion, Chaplain McKinnon, located in the South Central Chaplain Recruiting Station. You know, I've got to say, regarding chaplain recruiting, it's just as he said in the video, it's a call that not many people are able to answer. Not many people are, not necessarily many people are willing to listen to that voice that's in their head that's telling them that, hey, this is the call that's meant for you. This is what you've got to do as far as answering your higher purpose. And what a career option it is with answering that higher purpose through chaplain recruiting. So I'm going to share with you now on our presentation today that we're going to use today with chaplain recruiting. It's coming, of course, from the South Central Chaplain Recruiting Station there in Dallas, Fort Worth. I'm going to go ahead and add some more information while we're talking during the discussion itself with chaplain recruiting. And we've got I'm going to get actually this presentation going with chaplain recruiting. So let's go into every slide, and I will share this information as we go. So we've got a few people coming on. Oh, okay. Looks like we're good now. All right. So here we go from the beginning with South Central Chaplain Recruiting up in Dallas, Fort Worth. This information, of course, if you'd like to have more updated information, you can contact me at 210-426-1158. You can also contact directly Chaplain Avila at 210-857-6259. So I'll say that again, 210-857-6259. So let's go into some of the information on these slides here as far as chaplain recruiting. So here we go, right here. So we've got a few things here listed under the United States Army Chaplain Corps. You got nurture the living, care for the wounded, and honor the fallen. So some of us may be questioning how exactly can we serve those three options regarding nurturing the living. Many of us that are up and about, going on with our daily lives, may be looking for an answer, a response, someone to essentially give answers to many of the questions that we have in our everyday living. And we're confused, we're searching for purpose, and we're going to try to figure it out, of course, with nurturing the living. And I'm going to just give a quick briefing on this, and I'm going to add on Chaplain Avila onto our presentation also, okay? So nurturing the living, of course, caring for the wounded, and of course, honoring the fallen. Caring for the wounded. How can we care for the wounded? Yes, caring for the wounded comes with the physical hospitalization, hospital care that you can provide to them. But people also need that reassuring voice to give them not necessarily a will to live, because they're already going to have that in them. They may need some strengthening and some words of advice that emboldens them, that empowers that internal feeling, that willing to live, that push to take care of oneself, that push to look forward to that next day. And that chaplain is that person that can serve that role. So I've already kind of spoken on nurturing the living, how we can do for that, caring for the wounded, those who may be injured, and of course, honoring the fallen. Honoring the fallen. Chaplains across a multitude of different religions and backgrounds, they're able to honor for the fallen, holding ceremonies that, those fallen comrades that we may have in the battlefield or even at home, they're able to serve and give that sort of consoling feeling that many people may be looking for, especially in those highly emotional and daring times of need. So I've got Chaplain Recruiter Avila to actually join me on our discussion today. He's here. So I hope that you all, kind of got with my point of view, but let's hear from the chaplain himself, okay? So let's go ahead and add on to our discussion. Chaplain Avila. Hey, sir, how you
Hi,
doing?
I am doing well. Thank you so much. Experienced a little bit of technical difficulties here, but and you were doing so well. I almost let you do the whole thing, but no, thank you for absolutely no. And I think you're right. You were mentioning the three core values of the chaplaincy, and I just, what you said was right on. And just going to touch base just really quick. Nurturing the living. We know that
Hmm.
military life can be very stressful.
Yes.
Life is stressful. So basically, as chaplains, as we do is we come alongside of people, soldiers primarily, or service
Hmm.
members. It doesn't matter the component that they're in, and we help
Hmm.
them through the stations of life that may be going through, the questions that they may be having. And sometimes people may not have the same creedal beliefs that we have, but our task is to connect them
Hmm.
to that to which is essential to them in the spiritual field, and allow them to. There's an old army saying, the old army recruiting motto: "Be all you can be." And that's what chaplains do. And absolutely, we help them. We
Hmm.
assist people, whether with whatever particular beliefs or not beliefs, to become, the best that they can be. And that
Absolutely.
allows for a better soldier, a better person, somebody that can be um, completing whatever mission or tasking is. And care
Hmm.
for the wounded. It's not only physical woundedness, but
Yeah.
also emotional woundedness.
Hmm.
Chaplains, you'll see chaplains in a lot of hospitals, as hospital chaplains, you see chaplains visiting people in the field. But sometimes there's a emotional woundedness that we carry that says, whatever experiences I've had, whether before the military, after the military, or during the military, and we work with that so that they can become a more holistic person, a person who
Hmm.
has achieved a sense of, okay, I am who I am, and I am able to do. I may have been wounded by X reason or at X point in time, but because of that help that a chaplain can bring, that person can become whole and
Hmm.
heal from those wounds. And like I said, it's physical and emotional and even spiritual. So
Yeah.
we try to reach the whole person, not just one aspect. And we're available there to work. As I said, I want to reemphasize that whatever
Hmm.
faith or no faith, we help the person. We are tasked to helping that person achieving the best of who they are and honoring the fallen. Sometimes, all good things come to an end. Sometimes our wounded uh, service members die, and we honor their memory.
Hmm.
One of the
Hmm.
things that I live my life by is may their memory be eternal. Those that have passed on, we will remember not only their service but their sacrifice, and those that
Hmm.
worked alongside of them. My own dad passed away this time last year, last May actually, so we're in June, almost July, but he was a Vietnam veteran. And one of the things that
Hmm.
I do, when I preached this at his funeral was, hey, this is what we did, and I hope to emulate who he was. The same thing with other soldiers. I hope that that memory is still alive. So whoever comes after us, whoever comes after them, they can say,
Yes.
hey, this is someone that can, that I can look up to and try to be the same as that person. Not 100%, but having
Yeah.
those values, those things that made that person who he was, male, female, uh, Army, Navy, Air Force, Christian, non-Christian, Jewish, Hindu, may that
Hmm.
memory be always kept so that we become better people, so we can become the best that we can be. So anyway, I just wanted to
Cool.
touch on that. It's a great point on there. um, Also, I think I just want to move on to the next slide. I know I want to leave sometimes for questions, but
Okay.
uh, as a chaplain, when I was much younger, I'm in my late 40s now, so
Hmm.
I've matured a lot. I like to think, but I always wonder, how can I serve my country and how can I serve God? How can I serve through my religious faith? And I was a pastor before I joined the military, and it dawned on me one day, and I knew about chaplains, but it didn't, click that, hey, I could be both. So my who I am as a chaplain is someone that serves my country, the United States, and someone who serves God. and as I see it, as I see God. So I got the best of both worlds. I get to
Mm-hmm.
live a spiritual life, share with others about my spiritual life, but also, this thing right here, U.S. Army. I'm serving my country, and doing the things that will make my nation a better nation. And I invite others that are thinking that, hey, how can I serve my country? How can I work with spiritual themes that are important to me? The chaplains is a great way. And it doesn't just
Mm-hmm.
have to be a Christian person. It could be a Muslim person, a Jewish person, a Hindu, Buddhist, other faiths that are there, because we have soldiers of every faith, every stripe, every belief, or even no belief. So the chaplaincy helps those people. And you, as a person of faith and as a person who, as an American citizen, you could do both by serving in the chaplaincy. And, I think we have
Mm-hmm.
the best chaplaincy in the whole world, the United States Army chaplaincy. So this is a way that if, qualified folk can come in and share, be part of that mission, and encourage and strengthen and lead others in being all that they can be. I think I'm putting that, that motto back up again. Be all you can be. Because I think it's important, and it touches on who we are emotionally, physically, morally, and all of that. So anyway, yeah. So let's move on to the next slide. What does it take to become a chaplain? And let me touch that on quickly. A chaplain needs to be. There's different criteria for a chaplain. First of all, a chaplain must be endorsed by a religious group, and
Mm-hmm.
basically there's a recognized list both by the Department of Defense and by the VA of recognized ecclesiastical endorsers. Basically, which denomination will endorse you, and we all have different faiths, so if a chaplain, first of all, needs to be a recognized member of a religious group and in order to become a chaplain, must be a member of that and being recognized by that group. Also, a chaplain needs to have a theological degree of some sort, and typically through seminary, the schools of theology, you acquire that education. So you're basically going to have a bachelor's degree and then a master's degree in a theological discipline. There's
Mm-hmm.
age limits. If you have not had any prior military experience, you have to be under 37 to be a chaplain candidate. If you're
Mm-hmm.
going into the reserves, I think it's 42, and I mean it's 47, and to go active duty is less than 40 or 42. So there, you have to be within that age range. You also have to have as physical. I was talking to somebody recently that said, I just want to be a chaplain, but I don't want to be a soldier. No, you are a soldier too. So you have to be physically
Mm-hmm.
strong, mentally fit. You're gonna be running around for the fields like no one's chasing you, just because that's part of what you do to train. So you have to have you have to be physically prepared. You have to have moral convictions and be able to say, "Hey, I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm I've done all of these things, and I have nothing that will count against me." So all those
Mm-hmm.
things come into play as you become a chaplain. You also have to be willing to work with different faiths. I mentioned that we work as chaplains with different faiths, and sometimes none at all. So you got to be able to serve the soldier. It's not just serving your particular group, but also serving others. And by that I mean this. For myself as a Christian chaplain, as a Protestant Christian chaplain, um, I stay within my lane and what I do as a pastor. However,
Mm-hmm.
if somebody comes from a different faith, I help them either try to find somebody that can help them or help them find meaning with their own particular faith tradition so that they're served. My task here is not to change somebody. My task here is to allow that person to seek change in and of their own through whatever faith, belief,
Mm-hmm.
or none, that they can become a better person, a better soldier, someone that when they, go through their military career can say, hey, I've done this because chaplain so and so was able to assist me in becoming this, and and ultimately serve our nation and do the task that military people, soldiers, and other service members are called to do. So
Mm-hmm.
we try, that if you're able to fit within that criteria and perform those tasks, you're going to make a very good chaplain. And if you go above and beyond the call, you're going to be a great chaplain. With chaplain
Mm-hmm.
comes rank. just like any other soldier. So, you may start as a second lieutenant and you could possibly go all the way to colonel. It all depends on, your work ethic, your work, your education, your continuing education, where you're assigned, what you do. So there is room for promotion. There's room for improvement in the military, which lets me touch on something else. What are the benefits of becoming a chaplain? First of all, just going down to the basics. You got a job. You have a job. You can do something. And not worry about, hey, what am I going to do next? I know during this COVID-19 times, there's a lot of uncertainty in terms of people working at churches, people working in synagogues, mosques. Is the job going to be there? Before becoming a chaplain, I was a marriage and family counselor. And, great stuff. It prepared me very well. However, even that arena, it's, lacking job certainty sometimes, because we all locked in it anyway. So becoming a chaplain has allowed me to use my gifts and have a job, and also use my skills without having to worry about how am I gonna provide for my family and for myself. The chaplaincy, you get bonuses in terms, I mentioned the ranks, more responsibility, more rights. You get health care, which is great, especially, if you're in active duty and even reserves. There's certain things out there that allow for you to have those benefits. You get a retirement after 20 years. You get a retirement, which is great. How many people can say, I got this great job that after 20 years of doing a great job, I can retire with all these many benefits. That's very rare in today's world. There's a lot of stability in the military. Life can drive you a little bit crazy. And trust me, my last move from California to Texas was a little bit crazy. But there is stability in there, and that what you do. You know what you're called to do. You have an amazing group of people with whom you work that can help you walk along the way, that, can mentor you, can supervise you, can be your friends. We have battle buddies. These are people that, once while you're in and once you get out, these will be people for life that are in your life. So all these benefits, some are very tangible, some are not as tangible, but they're available as you join the chaplaincy and as you become a chaplain and you work through your chaplain career. And you must say, who do I talk to if I want to do this great thing? We are available. I see the banner running down, at the bottom of the screen. Hey, give us a call. Let's chat about this thing. Let's see what is it that I have that I can offer the military. What can the military chaplaincy offer me? Let's have a conversation. Like I said, there's a lot of opportunities. The greatest thing that has happened, to me, is being able to serve all the folks, all the soldiers, and even, a lot of sailors too. I was my last station. I was in California. I served a lot of sailors in Coast Guard, in addition to my, to my Army battle buddies. So we in this for the long run, and I have that satisfaction of doing that. I hope to continue, and I've been at it for 13 years. Got a few more to go. I don't know. I might stay till I'm 60 if they keep me. But I think it's been a blessing being able to serve and being able to wear this uniform. You laughed. I heard that. But sometimes you think, hey, is this worth it? And I think it is for me. There's times that things get hard. People have had deployments. I have to leave my family away by themselves. Sometimes I missed anniversaries and weddings. But you know what? I look at this way. I'm doing it for a greater purpose, and my wife understands that. My children understand that, and my extended family understands that. So I think it's been a great opportunity, and I'm an honor to be here doing what I do and get paid to do what I do. You know what? Let me throw this last thing in. I get up every morning at 6 a.m. So today I got up at 6:30. It's Tuesday. Monday was just horrible. But I get paid to go do PT, to run around for no reason. I get paid. Most people pay to join a club, and do exercise and have somebody yelling. They pay for that. I get paid to do that. So, hey, all kidding aside, there's some benefits there that I would not turn away. That if I start counting them, I'll say I'm a blessed man. And what I do, it's like, wow, this is amazing stuff. So, anyway, did you have any comments or questions? Or any questions in there that may be able to answer? And I appreciate you starting this up for me. But anything that you like to add, or anything that need to answer? I don't know. Otis, do you know if there's any? I can't see it very well, but any questions or anything that popping up or anything that you would have as a question?
Hey, sir, I'm here. It looks like we were just having a little bit of streaming difficulties, but we're back at it again.
Okay.
I know you asked. I know you had asked if I had any questions at all. I personally don't have any questions, and there were no questions on our discussion itself. But let's go ahead and jump into the next slide. I think you were saying, and the next slide kind of talks about the benefits a little bit more. You ready to talk about that, sir?
Yes, yeah, and I'm sorry. I get, as a preacher, I get ahead of myself, so I just gave you a whole sermon and forgot to look at my notes. So, if you're a
It's all
preacher
right.
like that, you will have a great place in here.
It's all right as long as we're getting the message out, as long as people are fully understanding, the enormity of the service as an Army chaplain and also the many benefits that we have there for them. I think even if you jump up and down, left and right, it doesn't matter. As long as we're getting that message out there and people are paying attention, which we are
Absolutely.
having people paying attention to the discussion. But I'd like to go into a little bit more about the benefits included, because obviously you need to be qualified. And also,
Correct.
obviously, you need to be compensated by the military for your service. So you want to talk a little bit about these things we have on the screen, sir?
Yes, and I think you have the benefits included. One of the things you get, like I mentioned earlier, you get a salary, and
Mm-hmm.
that salary has different ranges depending on your rank. Of course, a second lieutenant is going to be paid far less than a colonel, and and everything in between, first lieutenant, captain,
Mm-hmm.
major, lieutenant colonel. So anyway, I'm just mentioning them all, but so there's different levels of compensation for the different levels of rank or level that you're in. So first of all, you get a salary. It's a steady salary. So it's pretty much a guaranteed salary. And I don't know if you'll
Mm-hmm.
remember a couple of years ago, Otis, and I don't know if you remember when there was times where the government workers weren't getting paid. The military
Yeah.
allows you have a guaranteed salary, which is a great thing. The economy out there, I hop on that because it's a blessing. You get a salary. In
Mm-hmm.
addition to the salary, you get health benefits.
Mm-hmm.
We have what's called TRICARE, and it's a health insurance that it's very it's very good. Um, just a little bit personal here. My wife, 5 years ago now, she's a breast cancer survivor. The
Mm-hmm.
military, the TRICARE, paid for all those hospitalizations. I mean that's
Mm-hmm.
amazing. Nothing out of pocket, and where else you can go with that. I mean, I'm a man of faith. I believe in prayer. God was working through her, but I was very glad also
Mm-hmm.
that the health benefits that the Army has were backing me up on that, because it gets expensive. Kids gets expensive. If you have children,
Mm-hmm.
they get sick. They take turns. I got four. They take turns in getting sick. So, it covers you dependents and cover you if you're on active duty. If you reserve there, you can buy into that. So there's different ways that health, those benefits can be applied to your particular situation. Like I said, active,
Yep.
reserves, and, even I got to throw in the National Guard. There's different ways that you can get it. So, but so that's a great benefit. Uh,
Excellent.
the dental, vision, you get you mentioned the retirement, and depending, the 20 years or however long you do that, you get your retirement benefits depending on rank and time served. You get a
Mm-hmm.
life insurance, and you can see on the screen, um, you get up to 400,000, very minimal pay with that. So if something was to happen to you, your family's covered. We all pray
Mm-hmm.
that nothing happens, but if it
Yeah.
does, your family's covered. Continuing education, you get paid to, advance yourself.
Mm-hmm.
There's different course out there that training that you can use, for chaplains, clinical pastoral education. There's an opportunity to do that through the military. Sometimes, there's tuition assistance that you can use to, advance your education. Of course, keep in mind, you already have to have your master's in theology or divinity in there.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going for something further, some certifications and stuff, there may be assistance out there to help you. And I think it's pretty generous. So that has helped many chaplains, myself included, in going forward. And your dependents can take in your benefits in that, in terms of education. There's a process to get that done, but they're eligible also. So those benefits are there. And I mean, gosh, right now off the top of my head, those are the only ones that come up. But there's stuff out there that can help you. You get to shop at different places. The PX, the commissary. That's if you're in an expensive place like out west, or in the most urban areas out on the East Coast, going to the commissary or to the PX, you have significant savings. You have access to that. You have access to flying and different things, and it's just, those are an incentive, because we know that life in the military, it's a little bit difficult at times. So those things help you to support yourself and support your family as you serve your country, as you serve fellow service members, as you serve God. So those
Excellent.
benefits are there for your benefit.
Got you. Sir, let's jump into the next slide. And we're talking about retirement benefits. I know you mentioned that commissary, the 401k. Sir, if you don't mind, can you talk to us about training to become an officer in the military and a leader in the ministry? Talk to us a little bit about what that is like. I know typically people think of, when they hear, hey, you're going to have to go and do some military training, they're thinking, hey, you're going to run around, bang, bang, shoot them up, jumping in the dirt, and that's going to be the rest of your military life. Can you kind of dispel some of those false information that may be out there, and give people the real idea of, hey, this is what you're going to end up going through, and these are the different trainings that you'll have, but typically this is the role that you'd play. Go ahead and share with us, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? That may be true. Some of the stuff you mentioned may be true for some areas, but specifically for chaplains, it's different. First of all, chaplains are not combatants. We don't carry weapons. So if you wear one of these, or the tablets, for Jewish folk, the crescent for Muslim chaplains, or the wheel for the Buddhist chaplains, you are a non-combatant. So when you go to training, you will train like other soldiers. You will be getting up and running around, doing your physical fitness training. You will be tested during basic training and afterwards. And it's great stuff. I remember my first 3 days. This is a long time ago, 13 years ago. I was like, oh my gosh, I am in the Army now, as I'm being yelled to run faster. But that's only a portion of it. As a chaplain, you have to be fit. You go through training, X number of weeks, because first of all, you're training physically to be a soldier, but you're also training to be a leader. So there is physical component to that. Don't get me wrong, there is, but that's not all you do. Part of your training as a chaplain is, you do sacred communications. How do you preach and how do you share your religious story, your narrative to other soldiers? How do you, be hospital chaplaincy? What do you do? So from right at basic training, you get the physical stuff and a little bit of the just becoming a chaplain. So you graduate from that, you're good, you come assess, you become a chaplain, and the training does not stop there. You might finish as a second lieutenant, first lieutenant, or even a captain from your basic, but a couple years later, that you remember, you're increasing in rank, you're acquiring more responsibility. Yeah, you get more rights, more pay, whatever, but you increasing your responsibility. So you get to be trained at a different level. So after a couple of years, 4 years after your basic chaplain training, after running around in the woods, after doing, call them sleepovers in the dark, in the woods, after all those fun things, how do you become a better Army officer? Because remember, you're not only a chaplain, not only do you wear a little religious symbol, but you also, you have your U.S. Army and you have your little rank right there, whatever that may be. So how do you learn? How do you become a better officer? So like
let me interrupt a little bit there for you regarding being a military officer. So as a former military officer myself, I remember when I was assigned as a platoon leader for taking care of young men and young women. This is medical treatment platoon leader I was. And I remember, initially when I came on, there was a certain feeling of enormity, like, wow, I'm in a position of privilege and I need to make sure I'm taking care of the people that's under me. And so what I did, typically when you've heard the saying, putting your foot in the fire. That's essentially what I was putting my foot into that fire of responsibility that, I had really good leaders amongst my left and my right. I had a great CEO who took care of me to allow me to take care of the people that I had there. Now, I was responsible for them administratively, financially, making sure that they're safe, living environment, making sure that they're well fed and well trained. And so we made that happen. As an Army chaplain, though, you have not only that opportunity to make sure people are well taken care of physically, that they're not in harm's way, but spiritually, that spiritual responsibility that you have as a chaplain is something that it's a game changer as far as, say for instance, you decide, okay, the chaplain is not what I want to do and you want to move on. That responsibility that's in your resume, that feeling and knowing that you took care of people in their most times of needs, it's a wonderful not overbearing in a negative sense, but it's a wonderful feeling that just gets your spirit up and ready for every day. But that's just my testimony. I want to hear what you got to say, sir.
Well, I like what you said there, and it was C.S. Lewis, I think, that wrote about the weight of glory. And it, of course, comes from a Christian viewpoint. But when you enter in as a chaplain, you have this weight of responsibility. It's not like I'm the chaplain, everybody bow down. No, if you come with that kind of attitude, you're gonna have a very quick wake up call. No, there is great responsibilities because you have, especially when you're coming in and you're coming into a battalion. Typically, after your training, you come into a battalion either on your own or with somebody else that's a little more seasoned. But you do have a responsibility for the moral, ethical, and spiritual well-being of your soldiers, and you're going to be dependent on for a lot of stuff. I remember when I came into my first unit, and it was like, wow, I was at a brigade, and all of a sudden you're expected to know, hey, this is what's going on. Can you take care of it? And that's not a bad thing. What it does is it gives you, hey, this is serious now, because you're dealing with a lot of stuff that people's emotions, people's well-being may depend on it. Sometimes it's just something simple as I don't want to call it simple, but retirement ceremony or something. Let's say a prayer. But sometimes it's dealing with stuff that soldiers go through, people coming from deployment families. So there's a great responsibility that comes with it. You may be a young chaplain in your late 20s coming in, or an older chaplain in your late 30s coming in. But once you enter that piece of being responsible for the spiritual well-being of folk, guess what? It's like it could be overwhelming, but in a good way. It's like, wow, it's that weight of glory, that heavy sense of, hey, this is, I've been placed a sacred trust in my hands, and I have to do it well. And and it doesn't get better. Sometimes as you move forward in your career, you may do other things, but you still have that sacred trust placed upon you. And like you say, as a chaplain, you may encounter not only, people will talk to you about finances, people will talk to you about X or that, and you don't have to have all the answers, but you got to be able to try to understand and empathetically be there with them, walk alongside of them, so that they, so you care for them and they're able to find the positive outcomes that they're looking for. A lot of times you just got to shut up and listen. As a chaplain, I'm talking. I love to talk. My wife tells me, you know what? I'm glad you're a preacher because you talk a lot. Hey, that's what God caught me there. However, sometimes you got to be quiet and listen. And that is very important. I don't have all the answers. And the times that I have the answers, they don't necessarily come from me. My belief system, they come from God. So I listen a lot. I have to listen, because that's the way that people are able to manage what they're going through and have answers. And I may offer suggestions, that, because if I just sat there, be like, dude, help me out. But, when I offer my suggestions after listening and remembering that the person next to me, before me, talking to me, is a person of great value, of great worth. And, from my religious beliefs, they're God's creation there. So I have to treat him as such. God and goddess is an embryo, as C.S. Lewis said. So it's a huge call to be able to take care of soldiers, and you may be taking care of, um, brand new recruits to people that are almost retiring, and sometimes retirees that come back say, "Hey, Chaplain, you help me with this. What do you think of this?" So you get the whole range of folks that you work with. And once again, I want to reiterate that it's a great responsibility that you should not take lightly.
Yeah.
And things come with, with time, you get better and better at it. I remember my first church, before the military, my first month, no lie, you can ask my bishop, had 4 funerals the first month. And
Wow.
it was, yeah. So I called the pastor that had been there before me and said, "Hey, I need your help." Now it's got, funerals are always sad, but I'm a little bit better at it. I'm not screaming, going, I don't know what to do. With time, things get better. Same with weddings. The first couple of weddings, I have no idea what to do. I'm married myself, but I just showed up. So with time, and you'll do that in the military. You do military funerals, you do memorial ceremonies, you'll do weddings. You do counseling. Always keep in mind that the people that are, in front of you, next to you, the people who you're working with and ministering to, they're people of sacred worth. People that, in my belief system, God put there for a reason. And you're there, God put you there to help out.
Absolutely. Absolutely. God puts you in the places that you're most needed, and God won't put more on your shoulders than you can handle. And I would say during our discussion, sir, you're really handling this discussion very well. If you don't mind, let's jump into the next slide. It's really your point of contact, your information. And, in closing, if you can just, kind of make the connection for us of answering the call that God has placed upon your heart, and also answering the call that we've put out as an armed forces, looking for you, the next chaplain, to join our ranks. If you could just share with us, the importance of answering that call on both ends, and how we can then in turn answer, that warrior call that they've been asking. There's an Army recruiting marketing theme that's going on that says, "What's your warrior?" Your warrior may be that chaplain that person needed at that time in their life. Some people may be going through suicidal thoughts. Some people may be going through marriage issues. Some people may be going through, personality and personality issues, identity issues, all those things. So talk to us about how being a chaplain, you're able to make that happen.
Let me put it this way. If you sense a call to vocational ministry in the military, and I'm going to go back to my own experience to pray about it. I think whatever faith you're in, or whatever, tradition, I think when we connect with the divine, we can find answers. So if you're thinking, hey, maybe this is something where I can minister to people, pray. Ask God to, hey, is this where you want me to be? After a prayer, take a look at yourself. Am I fit for this? Not only physically, but also emotionally, morally, and otherwise. Because it's a hard thing. You mentioned the suicides. It happens. It happens in your unit. It happens to people people that you don't know. So are you able to encounter that and be a person that brings stability and hope to that situation? If you if you're not able to do that, hey, that's okay. We are not all called to do X or that. I often joke, and I'm gonna tell you again, like I told you last time, I got a face made for radio. So it's like, this is not my thing, but can you do this and still do it? But sometimes it's definitely not it. It's not your cup of tea. So there could be something. You can find your ministry elsewhere. But if your ministry is this, after you prayed about it, after you looked at yourself, after you said, do I have what it takes? Academically, ecclesiastically, ask your significant others, ask your family, because family sometimes can give you good advice. One of the little bit transparency here. When I went active duty, I neglected to tell my wife fully that that's what I was planning to do. She was okay with the idea of the reserves and stuff. So, when I got my offer, hey, you come on active duty, if she sees this later, she's gonna kill me. But are you able to edit this? No. But it turned out okay. 5 years later, I'm still living and I'm still going for 7 more.
Mm-hmm.
But, talk to your significant others. Just don't, hey, all of a sudden show up in uniform or be on the bus to be taken to somewhere. For Jackson, for chaplains. Oh, by the way, chaplains start at Fort Jackson, their basic training. So most of your training career will take place there because that's where, we're based out of. So, but anyway, but talk to your significant others, and get their input, get their permission, if you will, because doesn't involve just you. It's not just, Chaplain Efrain Avila. It's not just Mr. Efrain Avila. It's also your spouse, your kids. I got 4 kids, and it's, they're going to be impacted by what you do. They got to understand that you belong not only to them, but also to Uncle Sam. So sometimes Uncle Sam, say, hey, so, ask others. Also, ask people that hey, what do you think? You should be connected to a faith community. Ask your faith community, hey, do you think it takes I have what it takes to become a chaplain, to serve my nation, to serve the United States Army as a chaplain? Ask them. They will tell you. And if you at the time you don't have the right stuff, they'll put you, hey, this is what you need. After you've done all those things, talk to us. Our information is there. We're regionally based, so there's 5 of us, 5 stations that we can talk to, and there's there's a bunch of us chaplain recruiters that are here to help you discern those steps to become a chaplain. It's a process. It doesn't have, you don't show up at the door and then, hey, tag, you're it. It is a process.
It is a process.
About 5 months to even just get to when I was commissioned, sworn in, but it was well worth it. And you might have to do a little bit more than some other people, a little bit less than some other people, but after you done all the previous steps that I mentioned, talk to one of us. We're not disclaimer, I'm not 100% know everything that there is, but I know enough to say, hey, this is where you got to find this information, and we're here to help you. We're here to help you become that chaplain that you seek to become, and we can help you discern whether you can go into active duty, reserves, if you need to be a chaplain candidate, if there's if the Guard's an option for you. All those things come into play. So we're here to help you with that, and we're here to help you see if this is a career for you or if this is a short-term plan for you. Give us a call. We're available. My number and email are on there. And if you're in different parts of the country, we can connect you with the right folk. If you're up in New York City, we'll get you hooked up in New York City. But if you're in the in the South Central region, we'll get you connected and we'll start the process. Just be willing to work with us and be have that stamina to finish out the process. And you know what? We'll make it happen.
Sir, I really appreciate your words. We've actually got some comments coming in, celebrating our discussion that we've had here. I know we had a little technical difficulties in the beginning, but I think we're persevering through all of this. God doesn't put too much in you that you can handle, and so we're handling it big time.
Amen. Well, you know what? And even if you can't handle it, God walks alongside of you to help you carry that burden. So I was praying and not to freak out when I was trying to get in here because both computers went down on me.
Ooh, look, hey, I'll tell you this. God was right there in my fingers like, hey, Otis, press this, press that, make sure it happened. And so something came upon me. Something came upon me to absolutely say and do the right things during that time. And I could talk about this all day, honestly. I could talk about just how God has been good to me recently, good news coming. God is good, and he showers upon you gifts. You go and you do the work, you do his work, and he will shower upon the gifts upon you. So let's go ahead and bring up some of the comments that's coming up already on our discussion. So we've got one from Mr. Christopher Wallace Dane. He said, former 6th RCTG Brigade Chaplain here. Good to see you guys doing this. God bless your efforts. Pro Dio de Patria. Is that for God and country?
For God and country. That's our Latin motto. For God and country. Pro Deo et Patria.
I don't even know Latin, but I figured it out that quickly, right?
That's the only Latin I know, so don't ask me anything else.
I hear you. So let's go ahead. We have another comment. We have another Pro Dio de Patria. That's good. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Pro Dio Patria. You got it, brother.
Okay, we got some questions coming in. We got a question here from, let's see, Monserrate Varega Soto said, how can I become a chaplain recruiter? I'm a chaplain on active duty right now.
Well, you know what? That's something you would probably have to talk to your career manager. There's
Mm-hmm.
opportunities. I'm AGR. So a lot of the chaplain, that's active reserve. I'm still a reservist, but every day I get to put on this uniform. I don't even have to look in my closet to see what I'm going to wear. So I just put
Yep.
it on, so, but talk to your career manager, and that can, when the opportunities arise, you could be the person called upon. So, but absolutely follow your chain. Let them know
Mm-hmm.
that this is what you want to do. And honestly, there's days that's like, what am I gonna do today in terms of getting these people? Because you have to have production. But if this is what God's calling you to do, just like this whole thing that we're doing, this video, God will give you the skills to bring people in to serve the army, our country, the army, and God. So check with your career manager, and they will be able to lead you in the right direction. Or give me
Excellent,
a call.
excellent.
I'll try to link you up with some folks.
And that phone number is right there on the
The
bottom.
phone
It's
number's
scrolling.
right there. And
There you
email. If I
go.
don't
There you
answer, leave
go.
me a message or email me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we've got another one. We've got actually a comment coming in, and we encourage you all to send in your questions, your comments. We'll put it up on the screen. I'm sure you're not the only person that's thinking of that question or comment. So send it in, write up your comments, and we'll post it on the screen. And so we got a follow up to the question that we just saw. He said, "Thanks for answering the question. I will talk to my career manager." Excellent, excellent. So we've got another comment here. The comment comes in from Scott Friend, says, glad to know Chaplain Avila. Not only has he and the rest of the team helped me to process to now become a chaplain candidate awaiting commission, but also being from the same faith group and endorser has been extremely helpful. Sir, it sounds like you put a man in the right place.
He has the skills. So
Mm-hmm.
he's going to be a great chaplain. So, and you can be one of them folk too that you come in and might have the privilege to swear you in this area. So when you assess, so absolutely pray about it, think
Wait,
about it,
are
talk
you
to your
talking
family,
about
so
me,
they get
sir?
in. What was
Are you
that?
talking about me? Are you talking
Oh,
about me coming in as a chaplain?
oh, would you like
You
to?
know,
You got
I
my
would, but
number.
I would, but I can't because I'm medically out of the military. I can't do it anymore.
We lay hands on you. Woo!
I'll tell you what, sir. This has been just absolutely. I mean, we started off a little rocky and interesting, but we persevered. We persevered. We went through that river Nile, and we made it on the other side. So this
You
is
see the
something that
promised land.
absolutely, absolutely. This is something that I really appreciated you coming and talking with me today. I look forward to doing more of it. I
We
think
will
this is
just
a
do this
great.
again. Yeah,
Mhm.
we'll update them and have different topics because I know there's questions out there. So we will absolutely
Absolutely,
do that.
absolutely. And especially with our current Army hiring days, that's starting from today and it's going
Yes.
until July 2nd. So if you are that person who may be interested in becoming an Army chaplain, an Army medic, an Army doctor, heck, an Army, 12 Bravo, if you're interested in becoming that person, send us a buzz, send me a message, send me a DM. You could tweet me, you could LinkedIn me, you could Facebook and inbox me, and you could send me a message on YouTube. Obviously, I've got chaplain information going on today, but we're covering all of the MOSs for Army recruiting and Army hiring days for these next few days. And Chaplain Avila, in closing, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for coming and talking with me today. And I look forward to another opportunity with you.
Sounds like a plan. Thank you, and you're welcome. So thank you for having me on.
For God and country, right, sir?
For God and country, pro Deo e patria.
All right, sir. You take it easy.
You do the same.
Hang out in the broadcast room and let's talk a little bit, okay?
All right, sounds good.
All right. And so in closing, we had a really good discussion there. The spirit started up a little interesting, but we worked it through. We persevered. We went through and we knocked it out at the end. Chaplain Avila came and just talked with us and gave us really good information on how to contact him and learn about becoming an Army chaplain. And of course, I really appreciated the conversation because it got my spirits going good. It got you. I'm sure it got your spirits going good today. it may have inspired you to join our team, our Army team. We're looking for MOSs all the way from medical MOSs, all the way from anesthesiologists, all the way down to urologists. We're looking for Army enlisted, and we're looking for Army officers. We deal with Army recruiting for officers, but the Army as a whole, we're looking for both enlisted and officers in both active duty, National Guard, and Reserve. And in closing, as I always say, in taking care of everything that God has blessed you with, take care of yourself, take care of your family, and take care of others. Bye now.